Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Deep Threats Podcast. We are here live and in action, and hopefully we have some volume here today. Good. We got volume on, and everything's going well here. For all you guys out there, it is just me today, so if there's anything that seems a little bit off, let me know, and I will do my best to take care of it. That being said, we're going to get right into it today. Not a lot I can talk about by myself today. I did create a couple things. Oh, and I wish the best of luck to Wheels. He's feeling a little bit under the weather today, and I hope everything's all doing good there too. For all you guys out there, wish him the best of luck and keep him in your prayers and make sure everything's all good with him. That being said, we're going to get right into it today. We're going to talk a little bit about the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts today, and a little bit about the Steelers Ravens. Not too much going on in that game other than shit talk for everybody out there that's paying any attention to anybody. You have all the backups for the Ravens saying they're going to beat all the starters for the Steelers, and the Steelers saying that the Ravens are too afraid to play them. That's why they're benching everybody, not the fact that they don't want to get any of their people injured because they have the number one seed in the NFL and they have home field advantage. Like, the stupidity that comes out of Steelers fans' mouths and Steelers players' mouths right now is the most absurd attitudes out there. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Browns fan, because I already harassed Browns fans with the way they're dealing with the Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco situation. It's kind of insane. But I have a little bit for you guys today. I know it's just me right now, and it's going to be hard to do this show with one of the things that I kind of did bring into the show today and brought back to the show today. So I might end up cutting this up and doing it as its own portrayal for this segment that I used to do for all the fans out there. I also do appreciate you guys being here. If you can, remember to like, subscribe, share the video if you can. For all those people out there that do want to talk about football, I get it. It's a slow day for me. It's Friday night. It's supposed to be an F it Friday. And I was trying to get some people to come out here, have a few drinks, and talk some football. I was unable to. A busy Friday for everybody. It is the first week after New Year's, so I'm sure everybody's trying to get things back in order too. Getting into the first topic of the day, is that first game you're going to see on Saturday this week. It is the Steelers going into Baltimore. They're going to play in Baltimore. You got Tyler Huntley starting at quarterback in Baltimore, who arguably a lot of people said before the Lamar contract could have stepped into Lamar's shoes if he didn't want to be there. That shows you the talent level and the capabilities of Tyler Huntley and the faith that a lot of people have in Tyler Huntley stepping into this game. And then you have Mason Rudolph, who has been unable to win a starting job until their sophomore went down finally, and he got the job, and he's had two back-to-back very good games. But nobody else really kind of stepped in for that team, and he's the first one that's kind of popped off. So there's some positive looks with Mason Rudolph and what he's done recently stepping on the field. But I would argue, like, he hasn't really played any good defenses, and he's going up against a weaker defense because most of their starters are sitting out. You no Kyle Hamilton. I don't even know if Roquan's playing in this game. I don't think he is. I know that a lot of their linebackers, their cornerbacks, they're all either questionable or out due to the situation with them having the first bye. Like, they don't need to win this game. There's no records being broken here. There's nothing that changes what happens to the Ravens in the playoffs, so they don't even, honestly, if I were them, I'd be okay taking an L or a forfeit. It's just not risk injury based on what you've gotten going on in the league. Now, current rumors, and I don't know if this is currently active. Let me look it up really quick. But I know for the Ravens, current rumors are that they did get Dalvin Cook. He was the front runner. We kind of talked about this the other day, going to the Baltimore Ravens. We have signed, actually, that happened an hour ago. They did sign Dalvin Cook to the practice squad. We have signed Dalvin Cook to the practice squad. That is per Baltimore Ravens. Look at that. That's about as breaking news as we can have out here on this show. I mean, that is awesome for the Baltimore Ravens. Horrible for everybody that wants to compete against the Baltimore Ravens, because the one thing that was missing was like the consistency in the run game. And when they started to get a little bit of momentum, Keaton Mitchell blew his knee, and that was like, God bless Keaton Mitchell. I hope he's doing all right. That was a huge downfall for that poor kid. Good rookie coming out. I don't think the Ravens called him lightning in a bottle, which is awesome. But you had Gus, who's also an injury-prone guy, and Justice Hill try to take over that backfield. And they've done a above mediocre job. They've kind of established somewhat of a upper tier run game in the NFL, but it still kind of struggles. Kind of same situation as the Browns. Like they kind of established somewhat of a middle to upper tier, and it's just they struggle at times between all those guys. Now I know the Steelers. I didn't bring up this commercial, but Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren are in a commercial, and it's ironic because if you ever hear us reference some players, like we'll reference like a Curtis Samuel, and we'll reference. Sorry, my voice is kind of going today. We'll reference like other players. It's hard to like think right off the top of my head, but we usually will say like Curtis Samuel is a dollar store, Deebo Samuel, and it's kind of funny because Najee I've been referencing as like he's just Trent Richardson, and that's not good for Najee in this situation. And then Jaylen Warren, I don't know if I have a dollar store reference for him yet. I haven't really kind of comped much of his like comparatives between the two, like an upper echelon player and him. But it's funny because they're doing a commercial for a dollar store, and that's kind of our downgrade for a lot of people in the NFL. We just call them dollar store running backs or dollar store wide receivers. Like they're not the cream of the crop. They're just something you'd go get at a dollar store. So I don't think these guys understand the commercial they did. If it was a legit commercial, I know it was on Twitter. It was for Dollar General and Bounty. I guess it was the most cringe thing I've ever seen. More cringe than you're saying me right now, and that says a lot for a lot of people out there. But that being said, I have the Ravens winning this game with their backups, and I don't know if they can. I do know that the Ravens defensively should be able to do that because I don't think that the Steelers offensively can still put that consistent piece on the field unless it's the running game. That's the only thing I see consistent in the Steelers, and they've gone to that more recently than they have all year, which is probably a mistake in coaching and offensive coordinating. But that being said, it's going to be a tough one. I see this as a close game. It is in Baltimore. They do have home field advantage. It is supposed to be really crappy weather right now, and we'll see what kind of happens. But my expectations of this game aren't too high. I think Tyler Huntley is going to struggle a little bit giving up the ball. I mean, TJ Watt is still playing at a very high level along with Alex Highsmith and Cam Hayward. And the Steelers have to win this game to get in. That's just one of the things the Steelers need to do. They need the next team in the next game to tie. So it's going to be tough for the Steelers to even make it in at all because if they win, they're not in. Whereas the next team, if they do have a win, they're in. So that being said, I'm going to give this one to the Ravens, and it's going to be a close one. I'm going to go 21-18 Ravens. I don't see a high-scoring game. It could be. Who knows? The Steelers could pop off and throw for 35 points against all of the Ravens' backups. It's very possible that there's just enough difference between the backups and the starters that they could do that. I don't see that happening. And I see the Ravens kind of maintaining a run game and holding time of possession, which is the worst thing that the Steelers have done in the NFL this year is time of possession. Their defense is on the field 32 to 33 minutes a game. Their offense on the field 27 minutes a game. So that'll be a tough one for the Steelers. All right, I'm going to move out of this game, get right into the next game. I guess if you're going to bet on this game, I would bet on the Steelers players over the Ravens players. If you're going to bet, I would probably bet Pickens to probably, plus 65 and 5 receptions. I would take that, and then I would take both running backs. It depends on the situation with the running backs at that point. I don't know what their over-unders are at this point. But we'll get out of this game, and we'll get into the next game for all you guys out there. You have the Houston Texans going into Indy and attempting to beat the Indianapolis Colts, who did take one from them at the beginning of the year. But keep in mind, C.J. Stroud was not the same C.J. Stroud he was in week 1. The C.J. Stroud now is going to be way different, especially after concussion, and he came back. He got his feet under him, so he had a week to kind of break himself back in. Nico Collins is back healthy. So I think this team is going to look a lot better this week against the Colts, and the Colts have struggled to put a good product on the offense out on that field, and that's not where the Texans have struggled defensively. The defense for the Texans is going to be capable of fighting against these Colts. Now, the only thing I will say is I don't know because I'm pretty sure Zach Moss started at the beginning of the year, and I don't know if Jonathan Taylor is going to have too much of an impact in this game, but he can. He can, and that could be the difference maker is Jonathan Taylor stepping on the field and the control of the time of possession. And if they minimize turnovers for the Colts, they can win this game. The turnover differential is probably going to be the main differential in this game. And as long as C.J. Stroud protects the ball, it's going to be a close game and probably not a high-scoring game. I didn't look up the over-unders on either of these games, to be honest with you. Covers. I missed an S. Sorry about that, guys. I know that it's just me out there. I'm burning the daylight for all you guys that are paying attention, if you are at all. And I do appreciate it if you are right now. So, all right, here we go. Scores and matchups. Let's see what we got the odds. The over-under on the Baltimore Ravens Steelers game was 34.5. It actually went down. Steelers are actually favored by 3. It's kind of funny. And then you have the Houston Texans are going into Indy. The over-under is 47.5, and that's because Indy has been one of the highest scoring teams in the NFL in the last 10 weeks. And the Houston Texans are favored by 1.5 in Indy, which means that's a 3-point favor in total because they give 1.5 for home field advantage. So that would be a 3-point favor for Houston. Yeah, if you take away the point, if the home field advantage. So that's kind of what I have it at, to be honest with you. I don't know if I have that 47.5 over-under, but hold on. I'll give you the math here in a second. I guess I am kind of taking the over. I got 27-24 Houston. So I guess I am taking the over in this game. And I guess that is kind of a high-scoring game because that's 51 points. So that would be a high-scoring game. I agree that Houston is probably the better team, but with Minshew mania and the ability for Minshew to kind of go off like Fitzpatrick used to, he could have a very good game against this defense. And to be honest, Minshew's probably been studying this defense for the last 2 weeks because they knew it was going to come down to this game. This game matters. And again, I'll rephrase it again. If whatever team out of these two wins, they are in the playoffs. Win, you're in. Simple as that. Don't tie. It's the last thing you want to do in this game is tie because I believe if you both tie, you're both out. Depending on what the Steelers do. If the Steelers win, then these guys tie. The Steelers would advance above them, and both teams would drop out. Jacksonville is also dependent. The winner of this team can end up sliding into first in their division if Jacksonville lost to the Tennessee Titans. A lot of people don't see that happening. I would argue that Vrabel has a habit of upsetting teams when they least expect it. So I can see the winner of this game sliding into first place in their division. And if that happened and the Steelers won, I still think Jacksonville is ahead of them, but I'd have to double check in the standings. I haven't looked at that one yet. But that's kind of it for me today. If you're going to bet on the games, this would be the game of all this weekend to probably bet on. I would argue that your player props are the best in this game, and I would argue that your offenses are probably going to be the most dynamic out of these two teams in this game. So this is probably, outside of the Tampa Bay game, who plays Carolina and has to win. Tampa Bay has to win that game. So this is probably where I see this going. For all you guys out there, I'm going to bring up this next segment, and I'm not sure if you're going to pay attention to it or not. It's going to be a little hard for me to kind of do this by myself because I don't have anybody in the chat. Actually, you know what? I'm going to hold this segment off. I'm going to hold this segment off for Sunday morning. Hopefully I get somebody here for Sunday morning. You guys can have it. We'll kind of kick off and we'll do the segment. For all you guys are wondering what that segment is, it's Guess That Player. I'm trying to bring it back. So I will kind of start stacking these on each other for the show so we can have this back. And it'll give us something to kind of talk about and compare current players versus past players or current players breaking records and all this stuff. I wanted to talk about this today, but I can actually talk about this situation before Sunday's games if you guys will let me do that on Sunday morning. For all you guys out there, that's all I got for the show. I made it a quick show since I didn't have anybody with me today. I do apologize about that. I was trying to get a few guests in here and I couldn't get anybody to kind of like break away. That being said, please enjoy your weekends and don't go crazy. Don't go crazy. This world's crazy enough. And God bless to all you guys out there. Peace out.